All right, hello, good morning. Geez, I haven't been on this channel since Thursday. I've been doing some other stuff, dealing with some other stuff, but I wanted to come and speak to y'all really quickly about everything that has been going on. Um, with this public drama with this other vlogger, okay, that I dealt with on a romantic capacity, which I am dealing with him no more. Okay. But I wanted to come and speak directly to my love spell clients who have already been chosen for me, who have already chosen me. And, just to kind of give you guys some reassurance on everything. Okay. So there is nothing more what's the word that I'm looking for, seductive than the power of clout on YouTube. And there has been a lot of fakery and a lot of fuckery that has been going on. And I wanted to speak about this because I don't want you guys to lose confidence in the work that I do for you. Um, I personally think that this is why this is being done. There's been a lot of people that have been willfully acting, and this group of people who are not an actual spiritual coven, but more so scammers. And scammers and criminals are people that you don't want to get involved with anyway. They have a very strong will to do harm, and they are just who they are. Rarely does any kind of love work will work on them. Because I've actually had people say things to me like, oh, well, your love work is not working on him. And so you're a fake spiritualist because it's not working on him. And it's like, well, first of all, um, spell work on another person does not necessarily happen overnight. Okay. And so I think that it is extremely deceptive for certain people. I'm not going to call her name. I think it's extremely deceptive for certain people to make it seem like they can get actual love work to work overnight. Even if you are doing work on a person that is extremely dysfunctional, think about it. If you're doing work on somebody that is in their 20s, they may be a little bit more palatable, which is why a lot of older women like dating younger men. If you're doing some kind of love work to turn a situation around on a man in his 30s or 40s or 50s, you're going to have a hard time dealing with that, because you got to think this person has been existing this way for 30 or 40 or 50 years of their life. So this is going to be a harder situation to turn around. Somebody is that dysfunctional. I mean, you can keep working on a person, which I do have some clients that are like that. They're in love with men that have a lot of freaking issues. And because they love them, they choose to still work on them. Some people are like an onion. There's many layers that have to be peeled back of that person. And I think that the one that I am working at is on or where I had sort of, reached the end of my road with, was this person's decision making skills and their scruples. And it is very devastating when you do love someone and they are acting like a delusional, narcissistic sociopath. Okay. So some of y'all in real life are dealing with that, but these people are not online. They don't have 20, 30, 40, 50, upwards to 60 people throwing stuff at them. They don't have a bunch of people lying to them. You know, my situation with this person that I just recently was dealing with, he's on the extreme side of narcissism and is an extreme case. Okay. Most of y'all that are dealing with people, it's not that difficult to work on that person. Okay. And keep in mind, I get a lot of people that come to me for money work, unhexing, for yourselves. For yourselves. There's a lot of people that come to me for healing. They come to me for cleansing. When I'm doing love work on a person, typically takes about, I mean, it can take years to get somebody out of that dysfunction when it comes to love. I mean, literally, what I had this despicable person do to me just recently was where he had gotten caught and embarrassed doing something that he shouldn't have did, and he tried to reflect it to me. Just very strange and bizarre. It's almost like dealing with a little child that is running from his mommy. The point that I want to make is that he himself is a narcissistic misogynist. And so for him, it's all about trying to undermine work that is really essentially was being done to help this person. Because trust me, if this person continues to be, if this person continues to fight the work that I did for them, their lives will end up in shambles. His life will end up in shambles. Okay, so some of y'all that come to me to get work done, you know, your man may be getting persuaded, or either your cousin or either your brother, your uncle, they may be getting persuaded to do drugs, or they may be getting persuaded to, you know, have sex with, you know, people that may have diseases, or, I mean, some of these people that y'all care about could really, really be going down some roads that are going to lead them to destruction. And sometimes you can save them, sometimes you can't. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if a person is fighting tooth and nail so that they can literally destroy themselves, what do you do? Now, most of y'all that come to me for love work, typically you will find that you'll see immediate change, because I know that with my ex, he was just obsessed with, for some reason, there was this obsession with talking about me in social media. So I had actually gotten him to stop doing that. And it actually took some pretty strong domination spell work. However, there was still this in and out in my life, and he pissed me off. And so I went off, and then he started doing it again. And then it got worse, because, see, this person does need to be under some kind of control, because they act like a literal zoo animal sometimes. It's totally preposterous. But you can see immediate results. Typically, you're going to see a full manifestation within 90 days. And then, especially if you're dealing with any kind of domination work, sympathetic magic, that can take literally up to 6 months to a year. Do not ever believe what you see in social media, because that is a scam. Ask any practitioner that has been doing this for years. You cannot get somebody to do something overnight. Doesn't work that way. Because I've heard practitioners on here saying, oh, I can do a love spell to bring him back to you in one day. Well, guess what? He's still going to be fucked up. In one day, he'll come back, but he'll be fucked up still. He'll be doing all of the things that you don't appreciate that he's done, that he's been doing. So sometimes it's best to be patient. Um, most of y'all that come to me to get work done, to do because there's a few different types of love spells that I do. One of them is a love spell to get somebody to open up to you. Another one is a return to me lover spell. Okay, many people have came to me to get that work done and they know that it works. The other work that I provide is the love domination work. This can be extremely difficult when you're dealing with an extremely difficult person. Now, like I said, the younger the person is, sometimes the better. Okay, because you know how they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. If a person has been functioning on a very dysfunctional level, either because of generational curses, because of bad habits, things like internet porn addictions, sex addictions, it's going to take you a while to work on that person. So it does not happen overnight. And it can be extremely scary knowing that there are women out there that know witchcraft that will try to put stuff on somebody. And then the next thing you know, you're getting a breakout. It sucks, but it is what it is. Or worse, he's dealing with a succubus type energy. He's getting sicker and sicker. And you just have like a succubus feeding off of him. That happens too. Then there's also soul retrieval that we do. So it goes very deep. You ever have somebody that appears to be like the walking dead, to where they're just dead inside and you don't know them anymore? And you're like, what the fuck is going on with you? It's not drugs, because I haven't seen you do any drugs. You're different. You look the same, but you're different. That would be a case where you have to do soul retrieval. So there's many, many different workings that can be done. Um, but I don't want my clients to lose confidence in me. This is what they have been trying to do. Now, if you listen closely to them, a lot of the people that are stalking me, you got people that they function at a very low vibrational level, to where, they just want to go, I've been stalking you for 10 years. So I really got you. Well, actually you got yourself, hun, because what is happening with your life? Nothing good is happening for you when you're doing that. So a lot of people are just ignorant. I have this female that has been stalking me, that is obsessed with me for years. There have been several people that have taken advantage of this, all because they want some kind of drama for their channels. And then there's probably also been spiritualists that have been taking advantage of her mental illness so that they can possibly take her money. But in reality, you can tell that her life is just getting worse and worse. She's aged about 100 years. And y'all all know who I'm talking about. We don't even have to call out her name. Um, the point that I want to make is that I am here to stay. Um, consistently for almost a decade, my company has survived a group of people. This is about 30, 40 to 50 people, sometimes up to 100 people against one, for 10 years. My company has survived that, and we're going to keep on surviving. Okay, in the words of Beyonce. Okay. But the point is that I want to make to y'all is that most of y'all have normal men in your lives. They may have a spirit put on them or something, or either sometimes your relationship can become hexed, um, and they don't have a bunch of desperate women in social media trying to always be up in their face. Y'all don't have the same situation. Unfortunately, this guy, I met him in social media. Most of y'all men are not in social media like that, trying to make a name for themselves. And then also, thinking that they know what's best for themselves when they don't. I mean, this person that I'm dealing with is extremely self-destructive, extremely, is 40 something years old and still doesn't know how to make the right decisions on his own life. It's actually pretty sad. Some of the things that I've seen him being capable of. So my whole point is, for example, it'll be one day he'll be one person, and the next day he'll be a totally different person. And then you'll see one of these women hanging around him trying to act like, oh, I've accomplished something. I did that. No, you didn't do that. This is just an extremely unstable person that you're making. Yeah, you are making this person more unstable. And then also you're taking advantage of this person's insecurities. Okay, because I'm gonna be honest with you, it can take months sometimes. Like with this person, I could see that it would take at least 5 years to get him straight to be with anybody. Otherwise, he would not be relationship material at all. Okay. And once you've done the work, you don't have to keep doing it over and over and over again. If it's going to take 5 years for this person to wake up and smell the coffee and get his stuff together, it is what it is. Like I said, a lot of y'all men, I think it's more of a normal situation, to where it wouldn't take that long. Most of these men need love dominations done on them if you're going to touch them. I wouldn't touch a man with a 10-foot pole, no matter what race he is, without doing some kind of love domination on him, because he's going to carry his mama, he's going to carry his ex-girlfriend, he's going to carry his baby mama on his back. Whatever she allowed him to get away with, whatever his mama taught him that was dysfunctional, and he's going to try to bring that and present that to you as if this is what you're supposed to accept. This is going to be the same for most men in this world. There is no such thing as a dream man. Most of them have problems. And what I think is sad is that misogynistic people, especially when it comes to witches, they want to look at us and go, well, why can't you fix him? Well, maybe he's a work in progress, because all I asked him to do was to stop stalking me in social media. That's all I asked this person to do years ago. Most of y'all are not dealing with that. Most of y'all are not even dealing with a fraction of the type of person that this person is. Most of y'all. Okay. And don't ever think that he can interfere with your work. Don't ever think that those other witches can interfere with your work. Because when you start thinking like that, then you'll start to create that paranoia and stress that you don't even need. Let's face it, love has nothing to do with controlling somebody. However, there are situations and there are people that do need some kind of guidance. There are some people that need a little bit more than just your normal enchantments, because they are all over the place. They may have suffered from some sort of abuse as a child. Some of these men that you're involving yourself with grew up in a foster home. They may have grown up getting molested, beaten, and they've got some mental problems that are displaying as an adult. Okay, because I'm going to be honest with you. I've got at least 4 active clients right now where we are dealing with this person that requires some work. And most of these men that I'm dealing with are in their, actually, 2 of them are in their 40s. 2 of the men that I'm dealing with clients, and then 2 of them are in their 20s. I can assure you that the ones that are in their 20s are going to be they've been much easier to work on. If you love this person and you want to keep them, and it's what God has done, God knows that we don't always fall in love with perfect people. Then it is going to take patience. Do not ever allow somebody to tell you that it has to happen overnight. I know that for me, 2 months after I met this person, people were saying, "Oh, y'all don't live together. Are you going to move in with him? Are you going to have his baby?" Well, I don't even know this man. So there's a lot of crazy people out there. It's a lot of crazy people out there. I'm sitting up here. I'm like, well, well, you didn't manifest him as your husband. Well, but I mean, I haven't. It's so bizarre. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't. My reviews are 100% authentic. Okay, I've been getting reviews from the beginning. In fact, one of my best reviews came from 2 of my best reviews came from a client, um, that to where she had some woman that took her man. She used magic to take him. I ended up doing a breakup. Breakup worked instantly, and then brought him back to her, and they got married, and now they have a couple of children. There was another case that I worked to where this man had something on him to where he was drinking a lot. He was hanging around with a bunch of confused males that was encouraging him to cheat. There was a lot of outside influences that I was dealing with. He was going to bars. He was picking up women. Thank God he didn't bring nothing back to that lady. So that was another miracle that I performed, because there are some spiritualists out there that are hell bent on ruining people's lives. And you can't trust those spiritualists. When you see them, do not touch them. To be honest with you, they are in cahoots with misogynistic men who are very resistant to witchcraft and resistant to witches, even though they have witchcraft in their blood, which makes no sense. And we're going to blame that on the lies of religion, because their lives would be better if they would just embrace the craft, but they don't want to. In fact, the guy that I was dealing with when I met him 3 years ago, I healed him, even though he's not using all of the ingredients that requires to actually heal his stomach. So he's talking about going and getting things cut out of himself. He didn't even want to give me credit for, giving him, I told him to drink ginger root, and he drank it and felt better, and he's still drinking it probably almost every day. He never gave me credit for that because, I guess he has a hatred for witches. As long as they're a certain color, he's okay. Us black witches, for some reason, are crazy, and only a few of them that is cool in his narcissistic gang stalking group, would he give credibility to, which, that he'll learn his lesson for that. So, I wanted to speak to y'all real quick about that. I'm actually getting ready to go live and do some soap making, which is fun. For some reason, they are extremely triggered by that. I don't know why soap would trigger you. It's so bizarre. So make sure that y'all are there. In closing, I want to say pay no attention to the frauding and the faking that has been in social media. You cannot change a person overnight. You can only change yourself overnight. But when it comes to witchcraft, absolutely. Especially some of these men that in being that he knows that I'm doing work on him makes it even worse because it's spells and rituals do work that way, but it's a gradual process. It just doesn't. Good morning, Jen. Hello. It's a gradual process. It doesn't just happen overnight. You got to think this person has been living in dysfunction their whole life. Okay. So pay no attention to the people that are, because I don't use him for advertising. I already had a name for myself in the business far before I met him. Yes. Oh, I'm gonna make a yummy one today because I got a whole bag of lavender. So yeah, you should. It's really fun. It's very relaxing. Okay. So, in fact, just recently there was some stuff that was done. I mean, I would have to be a complete idiot to just keep reacting to the fake fraud games that he does. So they try to conjure up fake emotions in me where I'm supposed to be hurt over some things that over these games that he's playing. Don't ever get hurt by somebody's games. Like I'm not gonna sit up here and experience real emotions because of the games that you're playing. He's an extreme case. A lot of people will ask me, can you change a narcissist with witchcraft? You can. That's a debate in the spiritual community because most people give up after a couple of years. Yes, you can. You can change them. They'll change for the better. Okay. Otherwise, why would we be witches? They're going to have to change because narcissistic people are very self destructive. We know that, and they are destructive in the lives of their children, their wives, their girlfriends, whatever. Yeah. Oh, really? As long as you don't put Epsom salt in it, I wouldn't add any Epsom salt. I thought that I would be able to do that, but the last batch that I made with Epsom salt, it was a complete disaster. It didn't want to solidify. It literally melted. So yeah, we're gonna avoid using that ingredient. But I do have some salt Petri that I can use if I want to add a little bit of salt to it, for purification. And salt Petri is really, really fine salt. You know what I'm saying? It's like powder. So yeah, I wanted to say that as a disclaimer because honestly, I think that these people have been working together. Like, unfortunately, we have a lot of ignorance in the Black community with our Black men. We have a lot of that in the Black community. We do. It's bad. It's bad to where Black men, they have this energy in them. They have this spirit in them that wants to try to destroy everything that a Black woman builds by herself. They want to destroy what you built by yourself for some reason. And spirit won't allow them to do it. Oh, cool. I made some black salt too. I just used activated charcoal powder and salt. And I actually like the results of it because when you shake it up and you pour it on your petition or you pour it wherever you want to pour it, maybe in your cauldron, it releases this black smoke. it's really nice. So yeah. Yeah, you should. And you should use your soaps. I know that I use my soaps every time I take a shower. Hmm. So and then also this group of people decided, oh, let's try to use this person that was already out of control and dysfunctional to make it look like her spells don't work. Well, um, this person needs to just become more stable within themselves. And yeah, you can work on a person. I mean, I'm not even going to lie to you. I have tried to cleanse this person before, and the candle turned black. All the wax turned black, grayish. Okay. Turned black and grayish, you know. So purging yourself of your demons can be extremely uncomfortable, but eventually he gonna have to. Eventually. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that I spoke to my people, especially those of you that, most of y'all, when y'all are looking at the social media dumbness, a lot of y'all are just like, if you see it, you don't believe it anyway because you've heard about me. Okay. People have told you about me and they have let you know that the work that I do works. These people, even after several years, they still don't get it because they have one track minds. Oh, I just want to fraud. I just want to make it look like this or make it look like that. For example, when I moved into my house, they insisted on telling you guys that after 3 years of me starting my company that I did not get off of assisted housing. They wanted to convince you that I was still on it. But I've been consistently uploading receipts that prove otherwise. So they're liars. They're liars that need to move on. Okay. It's really insane, a lot of the stuff that they do, but I don't want people looking at that situation because imagine if you're a woman like me and you're extremely loving and kind. You're a loving and kind individual that is just fed up. And you look at some of these other people and their off-putting behavior, to where they think it's a game to sit up there and try to make it look like they are causing disturbances in your peace, disturbances in your relationship. You know that you cannot trust a woman like that to do any work for you, not even breakup work. So that's why they have forced this man, these particular, and I call them faux witches because they're backbiting off of me and my situation. That's only fair. That's why he's tried to swear me to secrecy to not reveal that he's been very active in my life, still, because they want to convince you that their breakup work worked, which a lot of the stuff that they did work. I mean, he is so far removed from reality, it is ridiculous. Just to give y'all a little tip, what my ex, the guy that's in social media, needs, he needs head work because he's had a lot of head work. So he would need head work removal, which would take up to 90 days to manifest. Okay, because witchcraft is not like bippity boppity boop, happens overnight. This person makes a complete turnaround. Doesn't work that way. Okay. No real witch worth her salt would need to latch on to a man and a woman to prove that their spells work. Nobody should have to do that. So we got a lot of people that are out here perpetrating the fraud. Okay. And then as far as this female that has been stalking me, I've done upwards to about 100 banishings on this person. She's got people that put batteries up her back because they like to use her. So, and it's pretty disgusting. And all I can say is that they'll just consistently get their karma. And what a wasted life. What a waste of a life. Like, if I were her, I would be angry at those people for, encouraging her. And I'm going to tell you something. When I lost my mother last year, that was the end of it for me, because these people tried to affect my relationship with my mother too. And y'all got to understand that me and my mother, my whole life, even though we had problems, we were extremely close. Okay. My mother, it seemed like the past several years, she had been under this possession, this promise that she can control her daughter. And you can't do that. You can't control your kids with witchcraft, especially when they're grown. Now, maybe when they're younger, you may be able to help them, protect them. I did nothing wrong but relocated. And I think that there was some witches that were promising my mother that they could bring me back to where I didn't want to live. And you can see that it'll never happen. So I lost my mother because of these gimmicky, faking, fraudulent witches in social media. So please believe that that is not like that's one of them goes around saying that my mother is sucking cocks in hell because obviously she's angry at my mother because she involved herself. You know what? It's still your fault, because if you're a spiritualist and you weren't responsible enough to talk to my mother and say, hey, I can't force your daughter to want to live in her hometown. You should have done that instead. So it's not even her fault. Whatever, relationship that they had, this person was also Facebook friends with my father. Very bizarre person whose name I won't call out, who for some reason for years has tried to act as though she is some kind of guardian over me. So bizarre, and she's not. Trust me, I know who my guardian angels are, and she's not one of them. So it's very bizarre how every single day she's just obsessed. She wakes up every single day, in a Facebook group, constantly. And it's like the best thing for her to do is to just cut ties and move on. This has been explained to her many, many times. My journey has nothing to do with her. If my ex wants to play around with her because he's into internet porn, he has an internet porn addiction that is not going to ruin my life. He has a whole addiction, basically, is what he has. And that don't have nothing to do with me or my children. I don't have any children with him. I don't live with him. I never married him. Uh, you know, I did the best that I could for him. And if he has decided to be trashy and do trashy things with trashy people, that's on him. So I don't believe that these people have the ability to discern or reason within themselves. I'm going to go and do a bunch of despicable things and say a bunch of despicable things about you in social media and actually have an expectation that these things are going to make you look bad, Jamila, and not me. And it's BS. Now, for that, you guys know that I will always have justice. And if you have someone doing to you what those people have been trying to do to me, you better believe that you can come to me. Don't you ever give up, ever. You don't have to. Everything that I want to happen for myself and every single goal that I have in life is still going to happen. and witchcraft is not necessarily about controlling people. It's not. We know that a lot of these trolls on here practice witchcraft, and I feel like they're going to get their karma. At least my brand of magic doesn't work that way. Okay, I have the utmost respect for witches. I have the utmost respect for witchcraft. I have the utmost respect for what we do, even when you do have to dominate and control somebody. I mean, when you think about it, if you have a witch with the best intents for a person and you have a lower level entity or demon that's trying to control that person, which one would you rather be in control? This witch that has the best intentions or a lower level demon? Because a lot of y'all are being controlled by demonic entities that are going to lead you to self-destruction. So I think that it is by God's grace that a witch would come in and say, "Oh, I need to snatch you up and put a little bit of domination on you." Now, what's sad is when somebody puts a domination hex over somebody and they're making a total fool of themselves and doing despicable things. Now that is bad. And I don't do love work on people so that you can misuse them. Mm-mm. So that's very unethical, and spirit don't like that. Trust me. If you do love work on somebody, because I know for a fact that somebody did do some love work. I think he did that did work. But what did he do with it? A person that is like that, they're going to use their power. They're going to abuse their power and misuse a person. Okay, so I don't believe in doing that. I don't believe in doing work on people so that I can misuse them and hurt them. Okay. All right, y'all. So give me a few minutes. I'm going to let my phone get up to about 90-ish% before I go live and do my not candles. Why do I keep calling them candles? Probably because I need to make some candles. I'll be live in a few minutes here to make my soaps. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. Otherwise, have a good Sunday. We done already got off to a good start. It's raining outside. So I'm about to sit here and kind of meditate and relax and listen to the rain. Okay. And also, here's one other thing I want to tell you. When people are doing disgusting things to you, you don't want to react like, don't ever do what Big Papa did. We're going to call him Big Papa. Don't do what he did. Don't try to scapegoat on somebody. If somebody lies on you, okay, send the energy back to them and take back your inner peace. Now, if somebody was telling the truth about you, then just admit to the truth and move on like a grown person. So, I feel a tremendous inner peace because when they started on me Thursday, this whole crap started Thursday. I don't think I've felt any, none of the stuff that they've sent to me, I have felt or done anything. Of course, I fought back and won. And let's face it, when you're out in social media lying on people, that means you lost. Only people that lost did that. People that are doing smear campaigns and lying on you, they're losers. However, you still want to do the work, because I know that for me, I did the work. In fact, there's a video that I did the other day. Whenever anybody is bringing any kind of false accusations or false persecution, have you really? Yeah, yeah. So, y'all, let me tell y'all this before I go. I bought this shower head. Oh my God. I actually went ahead and got two of them. And you can get them from Amazon. They came the next day. It's the rain shower head. It's like this big shower head. And I took a shower with it. It's not the kind where you can change the settings on it to where it'll be like a massager, but it's just this big shower head with just this rainfall. It's like high. It's pretty. It's very good water pressure too. Very relaxing. So that's why it inspired me to go ahead and make some relaxation, stress, anti-stress soaps, um, which is also uncrossing. Because, there is a difference between being crossed, being hexed, being jinxed, and being cursed. There is a difference. And I've learned the difference just recently. So, some of the ingredients in the soaps that I'm going to be making today are actually going to be uncrossing, unhexing, and I'm going to make a variation of those soaps to where you'll have one that you can use at night and then one that you can use during the day, because you can actually use lavender throughout the day. You can use herbs that relax you throughout the day also. But I want to, I'm going to do a variation of those. So I'll be making a lot of soaps today, you guys. Okay. Well, all right, guys, I will see you in a little bit. Blessed be.